right, so match 3, Mr. Anthony.
Which that took us into a match that we all very much enjoyed, which was the Cutthroat Hector Jones facing off against the jaw-jacking, ass-kicking son of a bitch, Jayson Krash.
This kid Hector Jones is the best find for the night for me. He come out looking serious, mate, and looked like he wanted to kill someone, and that's what you want from a good heel. He looked like an ass kicker. He looked like somebody you don't want to mess with. You know,
because he also had that look. He could carry off a very good baby face as well.
Oh, possibly, yeah, possibly.
I actually quite liked it. I think I said to you on the night, and I hope it doesn't go to the kid's head. He's sort of not necessarily in his ring style or whatever, but he reminded me a little bit of a Finn Balor.
Oh, yeah, physically.
Look at him. I see a wee bit of Finn Balor in him.
Yeah, build and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but he was good.
He was good. No, he was very, very good. And for me, this match was technically the best match of the night.
Yeah.
It was clean. It was smooth. Couple of little transitional issues when the pace sped up. Because Hector, he once again he's another young guy. So, but I think he's got his gimmick down pat. If that's what he's looking for, he looks impressive with what he does.
He was
working. Yeah, he's working with a very good guy because
I don't think I've seen Jayson Krash before.
I have seen him at NAW, and he's a very, very good worker.
But he was,
yeah, and everything was. Look, it was the most smooth and well put together match of the night for me. And like I said, they've got a diamond in the rough with that Hector Jones.
Yeah, look, the potential is massive with him as to what they could do with him, and I think you could do quite a few things. And almost if they modelled him on maybe someone like a Finn Balor type. And I don't want to go down the controversial road, but even someone like a Benoit type role, I think he could pull off something like that with enough training, under the expert, the watchful eye of like a Jayson and Krash, who I think is the trainer anyway.
I think he is the head trainer.
I think if they put some time and effort into him, he could actually be one of their main names on that card.
To be a very aggressive technician. He could very much pull that role off. Probably even look towards close to like a Dynamite Kid, which had a bit of both.
Yeah.
You had that agility as well as the aggression. That would be. Every wrestler will find his own character and he'll work to where he wants. But you are right within that he was aggressive in the match. Everything he did was aggressive, and he worked really, really well as a heel. And he could probably convert that to being a high technical role, but be aggressive with what he's doing, like a shooter. Look at the shooter style. But I think he's definitely a guy to watch for the future, and he's a guy that could, if APW look after him and they keep him in good matches and keep him working well, he could be a guy that could be a good draw for them in the future.
I agree. I liked them. I thought it was as Anthony said, it was a match the three of us enjoyed. Now most of these guys are new to me because I've sort of been out of the scene for a while, but Jayson was good. He led the match well. They executed nicely. Their chain moves were good. I think they both really deserve some praise. I think it was really, really, really quite well done.
That's the one thing I will say about watching this show too. Because we haven't really touched on it, but there was a lot of good wrestling in there, like good chain wrestling. It wasn't reliance on flips or gimmicks or stuff like that. It was reliant on good, solid wrestling, a very WWE style, right? Not overly heavy with the acrobatical stuff, but a lot of chain. So a lot of old school style wrestling, how can I explain it without making them... I'd say the current WWE style. More holds, more fighting, to come back. That
More
kind of
actual
thing.
wrestling.
Yeah. And that's what I really liked about the show, because I'm not big on. I mean, I respect the guys at AEW, but am I big on the style? No. You know, I'm more, like I've spoken many times on this show, I'm more of an NWA guy as far as the wrestling side of things.
Sorry, Mick. Interesting you say that. About 2 hours before we started to record this, I came across something. Kevin Nash went over to NXT, and Shawn Michaels, as you know, was running the whole thing. So he's the main man and running NXT. And he went up to Shawn Michaels, and he was sort of having a bit of a go at him. I'll have to find it again. Yeah. But he was saying, what the fuck is this? And they were actually, what's the style? Tell them to slow down, da-da-da-da-da. And Shawn Michaels says to him, that doesn't fly anymore, what we used to do. This is what flies now. It's this fast-paced NXT all over the place. I don't know that I agree, but...
I don't agree, no.
No, well, you and I don't.
And I'll tell you why. It's simple mathematics, right?
Yeah.
When Kevin Nash... And Shawn Michaels was always that fast-flying style anyway. He was the exception to everybody else.
Yeah.
He was that exception to everybody else. He's not... If he was wrestling now, he'd be pissed off with everyone doing that, because they'd be cutting his lunch.
Yeah.
Right? Well, then let's go back to 1990, right? 1990s, through the 90s, the wars.
Mm.
The style of wrestling was a brawling wrestling style. It looked like a fight, right? If I have a whinge about that era, there was too much hot shotting.
Yeah.
Right, if I'm going to whinge about it. But they were averaging 8 to 9 million views, right, on TV per episode. They now got 1 million, the hundreds of thousands, a little bit over 1.2, something like that. So really the style is only for a selected small group of people that like that, not for the general, it's like watching parkour. I mean, I've bagged parkour many times, because how do you fight someone when you're jumping off the top of buildings doing backflips?
Yeah.
That people that watch wrestling, right? No, the people aren't stupid. They knew back in the 70s that it wasn't for real, that it was a work. They weren't dumb. People weren't dumb. They had the odd believers, but most of them were smart enough to know. They were truck drivers, they were factory hands, they were whatever. They go and watch it, because it resembled a fight with some storyline behind it.
Yeah.
There was a reason to go watch it. Now, if people watch it, my father, which was a huge fan of wrestling, right? He went to Festival Hall all the time.
Yeah.
He watched something recent that was, flippy and that. He said, "What's this?" He goes, "This doesn't even look like a fight." Got up and walked out.
Yeah. I was trying to illustrate your point that even Kevin Nash is saying.
He's right, 100%.
Yeah, he said, and he didn't say Shawn disagreed, but he just said that that wouldn't fly today. But again, we agree to disagree, but I don't. That's why, to illustrate your point, that's why this show at APW was good. Yeah. There was very little of the bullshitty stuff, and
doesn't look rehearsed. Nothing there really looked rehearsed. So it looked like it was happening on the fly.
Point that APW actually on the right track. And now I agree. Anyway,
yeah, and I think on the general, like I said, mathematics doesn't lie. If you had with the style that APW using, and that it looks like a very 80s style, 90s style of wrestling, right? With some, Japanese bits and pieces with the strong style stuff and that. That's what they're basing their style on, right? The high flying style has lost fans, lost viewers.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, because it looks rehearsed. If you're going to do all those high flying spots, it looks rehearsed. It looks like the guys like trapeze artists. They've rehearsed it. They know exactly what's going to happen from one minute to the other. You actually, when you watch that style, you're actually hoping they're going to miss it to see something exciting, because you know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if they miss it and they land on their head, it's like, oh, wow, look at that, something different.
Well, on Raw on, Tuesday here, our time, you had Liv Morgan up against Natalia again. Okay. I don't know how many botches and how many misses they had in that match. I've counted about 8 or 9.
Well, I spoke about that last show.
Yeah, quite blatant.
Yeah, and once again, how do you justify them being at the top end of the cards?
Yeah, no.
No, it's only because
this was only yesterday, Mick, and it was a shocking match. It was a shocking match.
Yeah.
So you can overdo it, and I think they've overdone it. But APW, I think they got the balance really, really good.
With the style, I think the style's good.
Yeah.
I think the style, and once again, as they fix the little things, transitional stuff, and the psychology.
Yeah, a bit more of the psychology.
But that's everyone's guilty of that. Like the whole DDTs. I'll use the DD spot, and if anyone that's a young wrestler listening to this now, take what advice I'm giving you, right, and think about it, right. DDT in the 80s was a finisher. You got hit with that, you're getting carried out the ring. Then in the 90s, it became a near pin hold, sometimes a finisher, sometimes a near pin, right. 2000s and up, it's become basically a transitional hold where you give it and you go for the pin and the person kicks out.
Yeah.
Right?
They've killed it. They've killed it.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to bring respect back to that hold, don't take it every time somebody goes to give it to you. If somebody puts me in a front face lock, even when I'm stuffing around training, I push them against the ropes. If it looks like they're going to put me in DDT, I push them against the ropes and they can't. I'll hold on to the ropes. If they put their arm around my head, I slide out and bail out and look surprised and, oh my God, that guy almost got me. If you show fear to the hold, it's better than kicking out.
Yeah,
because when you do take it, it's going to do one or two things. Like this guy's done. And if he kicks out, it looks like a miracle.
Yes.
Right? Because he's bailed on it so many times and he's scared of it. Well, you're just going to pin the guy 1, 2, 3, makes the hold look tight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's too much of this. I'll take the hold and I'll just kick out.
Yeah, no. Well, there's no finishes anymore. What's a finisher now?
Well, that's right. And that's where they've killed it. The Japanese have a big friggin' reason behind that too, because the more modern Japanese style, the strong style, they'll take forearms to the head or a DDT and get straight back up and not sell it like a suplex. I mean, it's a silly thing because you're trying to sell that this is a real fight. If I picked you up and threw you on your back on the street, you're not going to get up quick.
You're not going to bounce back up, no.
If I bop your head on the ground out of a DDT for real, you're not going to get up quick.
No.
Right? The only way to really get out of that hold is not to take it, escape from it, fear it.
I mean, there's no real finisher.
No.
There really isn't. There's the one Bobby Lashley uses, the full Nelson.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's really got out of it. Even when he was with Omar, so he never really got it on for him to get out of it. But but apart from that, I can't think. I mean, even Seth Rollins has stopped now. What was it? Someone 2 stomps and they still got kicked out after 2.
Wrapped chain around his foot one night and smacked somebody in the head with it.
Yeah,
super kicked and the guy kicked out.
Yeah, anyway. But
anyway, we're getting off topic, but I think that they're on the sort of like the right.
I really enjoyed that match.
Yeah.
I gave that an 8.
Yeah, I was in the 8s too with that one because I thought just it was smooth. It was well put together.
Like me, smooth and
well put together. Exactly.
Thank God they can't see me. Okay.
What did you reckon, Anthony?
I thoroughly enjoyed that match. It was, you could see that each guy wanted to win. It wasn't, we'll have, this person do his bit, will look like that person's going over. Both guys were willing to do whatever they could to get that win.
Yeah.
And obviously, it ended yes.
Yeah, I'll just say that the finish of the match, I wasn't a fan of.
It looked a bit awkward.
Yeah,
for some reason.
I wasn't. I know they were setting up for another match, but I thought that match really did deserve a nice, clean finish either way, and not have anyone involved. That's just me. That's my personal view. I thought that would have been just great. Whoever went over, because both guys were deserving to go over, whoever went over was a nice clean finish, and then maybe as the other guy was leaving or something, he could have been jumped or hit or something like that, started the feud, instead of being involved. But that's just me. That's just me. But other than that, I thought it was a great match, 8 out of 10.
What are your